Boker Tov, we're continuing in Megilat Esther. We're up to Perek Daled, Pasuk Daled, and here is, we left off with Mordechai kind of screaming in the streets about hearing the edict that Haman wanted to get rid of the Jews, and now they come and tell Esther what Haman is doing, what Mordechai is doing. Vatavona na'arot Esther v'sarisea, and the young ladies that were taking care of Esther and her kind of guards came to her, Vayagidula, and they told her what Mordechai was doing, wearing sackcloth and kind of screaming and crying in the streets. Vatitchalchala malka meod, and the queen was very distressed as to what was going on. Vatishlach begadim lealbish et Mordechai, and she sent clothing to go and dress Mordechai in proper clothing, ulahasir sako me'alav, to remove the sackcloth from him. V'lo kibel, and he did not accept. And Rashi says, the Gaon of Vilna explains that she wanted him to get rid of the sackcloth and put on proper clothes. He didn't look kibel, he didn't accept even for a moment, saying that he's not taking off his clothing until Hashem answers his prayer. Just lehavdil, to give a small comparison, in the news these days, you see Russia and Ukraine. If you've ever seen President of Ukraine, Zelensky, he's always, it looks like, in war uniform. He's never wearing a suit. And I think this week he said that he's keeping his suit for when the victory happens. But he's always dressed in, and I saw a little clip that he sleeps like almost in a bunker, because he wants to feel the war like everybody else is feeling the war. And he's dressed in like war clothing all the time. He travels to Washington and he travels here and there, and he's always wearing like war gear, and because he's in it. And so too Mordechai said, I'm in this sad situation. They want to kill the Jews. I can't be dressed like royalty. I'm supposed to be by the king. I'm dressing in sackcloth the entire time. It says the government, Lo kibel, the entire time I'm dressing like this until Hashem answers my prayers. The next pasuk, Vatikra Esther lehatach misarisei hamelech. Esther calls Hatach, one of the guards of the king, Asher Yamid lefanea, that his post was to help her out. Vatetzaveu al Mordechai ladat mazeh ve'al mazeh, and she command Mordechai to know what's this all about. But the pasuk says, Ladat mazeh ve'al mazeh. What's this about and what's that about? These two things, it seems like. So the Gaon of Vilna explains that anytime you see something, that's unnatural, you want to find out what's going on. Someone's crying or someone's sick. So there's really two things that you need to find out. He says, number one is, what's happening over here? What's happening? So let's say someone that's sick. What's happening? You're sick. Okay, what's the sickness is number one. What sickness am I talking about? Is it a cold? Is it a fever? Is it COVID? Is it whatever it is? What is it? And then what's the cause to it, and how can I make the situation better? So too over here. Okay, Mordechai, you're crying, you're screaming in the street, you're wearing sackcloth. What's going on? What's happening? Okay, so this is happening, Haman. Okay, and then what's the cause to it? What can we do about it? So there's always two things. So al-zeh ve'al-mazeh. What's these two things? She wants to get to the bottom of the situation. Hatach goes out to the streets right in front of the gate. Why does it mention here the street? Because Mordechai was even in the middle of the streets. It's crying and drawing attention to what happened, that Haman wants to get rid of the Jews. Mordechai, and here we see in this pasuk that Esther didn't know that, because remember, according to the Gaon of Vilna, in the edict that was sent out to all the people, it didn't say that they were going to kill the Jews. He just told that to the heads, and then that spread to Mordechai because he sits by the gate of the king. So Esther didn't know that it was referring to the Jews, and now Mordechai reveals it to her. Vayagid lo Mordechai, et kol asher karahu. Mordechai tells this to Hatach, who's going to pass on the message to Esther. V'et parashat kesef, and the amount of money that Haman wanted, that Haman offered, Asher Amar Haman lishkol al ginzei hamelech by Yehudim le'abedam. And he told her that this guy Haman wants to kill the Jews, and this edict is about the Jews, and that he even offered money to get rid of the Jews, and that's what his intention is, and therefore that's why he's crying. And then we're going to see in the next Pesukim where she says, and that Mordechai continues by saying, please, I need you to go to speak to Achashverosh, let's get rid of this edict, etc. And that's when Esther's going to say, well, I can't go in just like that to the king, fast before I go in, etc. So we'll get to see the continuation. But here is when Esther finds out about the edict that Haman wants to kill the Yehudim. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashya omer tzak kadosh baruch hu lizakot et Yisrael. So you want me to continue, you're saying?
Yeah, go longer.
Al cheshbon Yitzchak. Okay, he's coming back. Here he is. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashya omer.